What is up, everybody? So I wanted to talk a little bit about this space, the art opening, and what that means. So basically the store opening. So we are officially open, but the hours are limited. The plan is going to be to post the hours every single Sunday. Right now on Instagram, one of my goals tonight is to build that spot out on the website as well for people who don't do social media. I'm going to have 3 days this week, and basically what I'm doing is when I have time to be here, when I'm just editing photos or working on something in the studio or working on the storefront space, I'll be here, the doors will be open. So you can come in and check out the stuff we have. You know, there are some vintage cameras for sale right now. I do have some artwork on the walls. Some of it's mine, some of it's the really cool Rizzo prints that Micah Kraus made. We made some cool prints from old camera manuals and stuff like that. One of the things I'm going to be doing is going through old camera collections, getting stuff ready, seeing what can be sold, what's worth selling, what's not worth selling. Of course, the film fridge, that's the big deal. I'm going to keep updating that, getting new stuff, changing stuff out as we go. So I want to get that stock to be bigger, but there's some pretty interesting stuff now. So we have fresh film and we have some expired film. Some of that goes for a little bit more money. So what I was encouraging people to do over the weekend was to check the list. You know, I had a friend who put a bunch of film on the counter and I'm like, you might want to look at the price of that. If you don't want it, it won't bother me if you put it back. I've got a couple more plasticky toy cameras on the way that are new but are interesting. Sold one of those, I haven't shot it yet, so I'll be interested to see what it's like. Anyways, the art opening, so you can come still check that out. We have left the gallery set up for now. This is my portrait space, so when I need to use it more like that, I will probably move all this stuff up to the front. Not probably, I will. That's the plan. You could still come in and check all this stuff out, buy a piece of art. You know, artists always appreciate that. At the opening, we did sell a couple, which was awesome. So I was thinking about that on the Friday night. I was like, you know, I didn't sell a lot of stuff. The artist sold a couple things. But then I realized, you know, every time I go to an art opening, it's almost way more of a social event. I even go back to galleries or museums after the opening sometimes because I didn't even get a good enough chance to look at the art. You know, you're just so busy socializing. They're social events, art openings a lot. So it's like, hopefully you get to check out the art, and like in this space, hopefully you got to check out the store, but it's just not a good opportunity for that. I actually sold more at the bicycle channel meetup we did on Saturday. The next day when we met here, I had the doors open for an hour before we went for the ride. So more people bought stuff for that. The opening was a lot of fun. A ton of people moved through the space, so I was happy with the turnout. Some people rolled through real quick, checked things out. Some people hung out all night, everything in between. So that was a really good time. I don't think any of the 3 artists had ever shown work like this before. At least I know 2 of the 3 haven't. So I think they really enjoyed themselves and had a good time doing it, having their friends show up. They're from Cleveland, so people from Cleveland came down, a bunch of my friends, but then other people, just great conversations on every level about the art, about cameras, just, yeah, still, of course, always about bikes. But yeah, really was a good time. I'm really glad we did it. And so definitely going to be looking into doing some more events down the road. I've got a couple things cooking and I will bring them up as they start to come together, announce dates and plans and all that kind of thing. If you are from the bike channel, my bike stuff is all available. Anything on the website will be for sale in person here. So even if cameras aren't your thing and you wanted to swing by and buy some stickers, that's always a possibility. The other thing is I've mentioned, like, a lot of the camera stuff right now is like flea market style. It's just old stuff I found in the bottom of bags. I'm just putting it out to see if anyone's interested. Like there was a certain metal lens cap that someone saw and they're like, oh, I can use this. And I was like, name a price. You know, I do want to price more stuff like the old camera bags because I just know as someone who's a little less outgoing, when you walk into a store and there's not a price, you're not going to buy it. So that's one of the things I'm going to work on during open hours tonight. So I printed a bunch of little prices. If they're going to go on like a wall, I'm like making the price tags a little nicer. Other things, I'm just taping them to the stuff. So do have some darkroom supplies and stuff like that for sale. I want to see if anyone buys that. Talking to a friend who was running a community darkroom, he said it didn't seem like there was much interested in that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff I'm interested in, so I wanted to have some of it, and buying some of it won't hurt because if nobody wants it, I'll end up using it. I developed my own black and white. No idea if people would ever be interested in their own C41 kits or anything like that, but that's kind of what this experiment is all about. Doing pop-up hours when I have the time, just to see what people are or aren't interested in. Also, as someone who's worked for many small businesses that were really well run, I know the idea of having limited stock and kind of different hours every week and not offering the full suite of services right away is not the best way to run a business. It's just the only way I can get this idea out of my system and attempt it. So I am also open to partnerships or any interesting kind of ideas that other people have. I have never intended to do all this on my own. It's just the only way I can do it right now. And it's something I've always really wanted to try. You know, one of the biggest barriers to entry of someone ever starting something is the rent, the lease, the space. I have those. I'm already paying for them. So it's worth the attempt. I am not going to be doing online sales of certain things. Like I'm not going to put film online. I'm not going to compete with that. I'm not going to be doing like cameras online. That's kind of, I want the brick and mortar. The stuff that, the swag that we make specifically for this place, like doing these really cool Rizzo prints and stuff like that, these will be online. So there will be a link below. Maybe not by the time this video comes out, but I will get them online. Also, I need to see how many people show up tonight. One of my goals is to get kind of all this stuff done while I'm hanging out, because I don't expect a lot of customers for the first few weeks. You know, I don't think my random hours and like the whole new business thing will take off right away. So I think I should have a lot of time to get the stuff I'm talking about done. The other thing is the concept of doing the lab here. I've been working on getting the right connectors to get the scanner I have now working. I've been talking to a couple other people about developing certain things. So I think what I would do is do black and white here myself, kind of one or two at a time, because I just don't think a lot of people are shooting black and white right now or getting it developed by other people. You know, just like me, I shoot black and white. It's something I do myself. But I'm talking to a couple labs about C41, whether we could start by having them do it. And then, you know, I would just pay them their retail and processing, and if I could be a drop-off location for them, and if I could get my scanning stuff going, then I can make a little bit of money doing the scanning work and charging for that myself. Also, if I'm sitting here, scanning takes a little bit of time, and then putting in the film profiles and the editing and the color correction, well, that's what I could do while the doors are open while I'm waiting to see if anyone shows up. So yeah, that's what this space is for now. Part analog store, part camera museum, part flea market, part art gallery. So if you're interested, stop by. Like I said, the hours will be posted on my Fitzwater Studios page. That page also is going to change to the name Fitzwater Color Lab if I get the development stuff going, or when I get that going. So check that out on Instagram. Those hours, I never want to take any of the hours away once I post them, but I'm hoping that, like, say something happens and I have free time, that I might add hours throughout the week. But I would say always check it if you're going to come here. Like, just check it before you head this direction, just in case. I am a freelancer. Sometimes someone asks me to do something I didn't expect and I have to take off. So I do have the hours posted on the door, and I will keep that updated. And like I said, the goal is to get that built out on the website. And so as all that is getting done, I will add those links below this video. The other stuff I've talked about in the previous videos, in case you've been watching, getting the other film developed and showing it, showing my Maui photos, all that stuff still coming down the road. But with last weekend and the awesome art opening, the bike events on Saturday and Sunday, that's obviously consumed almost all my time. One thing I realized about myself having an event here is I would never be done. Like, I was doing stuff right up until the second we opened the doors. We were pouring the ice into the coolers when the first people came in, and I would have kept rearranging and making stuff look better and organizing and pricing forever. So again, that's like kind of cool, because I could work on that kind of stuff now while the doors are open, and just continually making everything hopefully better and a better place to come and visit. So hope to see you soon, either on the internet or right here in person. So thanks for watching. Peace.